In the past decade, we've all heard a lot about the quest for the super cow, the super chicken, super sheep, and so on. It's all part of a branch of science known as genetic engineering. But in pursuing this goal, it often means we abandon the very breeds that made the super breeds possible. However, as Christina Pokmersky of CBC's Monitor reports, there's one farmer who's not going to let us forget.
They make an extraordinary pair. Bree's an Arabian mare, and her companion Alex is one of the last of his kind. He's a Przewalski's horse, and there are only 15 of them in Canada.
Alex, come on, boy.
Chiperzak is Alex's owner.
He looks like he'd be very affectionate and very sort of docile.
This breed is actually one of the most ferocious horses in the world. Most of them are found in zoos, on public display, or in Europe there's a number of reserves. And that's what we hope to do here, is establish a wild reserve for breeding these horses.
Here is Joywind Farm in Marmora near Belleville, Ontario. A Przewalski's horse reserve is only one of owner Chiperzak's dreams. 3 years ago, he started Canada's only program to preserve rare farm animals, and now he has 15 different breeds of livestock. Sheep like the Horn Dorset, the Barbados Blackbelly, and the Jacob, valued not for its horns, but for its soft fleece and lean meat. Cows like the Irish Kerry, only 22 of them left in North America, and poultry like these bronze turkeys. And Chiperzak is constantly adding to the list.
Now, what is the pig that you're going to pick up today?
The pigs we're picking up today are the Berkshires. We're getting a young gilt and a young boar. And the Berkshire is a smaller breed of pig. Was quite well known as a bacon pig in the past years.
Chiperzak is a one-man crusade against the trend in modern agriculture. He's worried that in the push for maximum production and profits, the farming industry is becoming too dependent on a handful of super breeds. As a result, many barnyard animals are being ignored to the point of extinction.
Hi there.
Hi. Hi, Doug.
Hi.
Chiperzak has come to this farm near Guelph to buy the 2 Berkshire pigs he wants to add to Joywind's collection.
So can you tell by looking at them which one you want?
The biggest one.
In North America, pork producers have been avoiding Berkshires in favor of leaner breeds, so their numbers have been declining. But Chiperzak says these pigs are more resilient and self-sufficient than most, and he thinks those genetic traits must be preserved as a kind of insurance policy for the future.
Well, he's not squealing.
No.
200 years from now, we will have different climatic conditions. There's talk of the greenhouse effect, the ozone layers. What is going to be the demand on the farmer in 200 years from now? We don't know. We don't know what the consumer is going to want. And to change, you need a gene base. You need a wide selection of animals to pick those traits that might have economic importance in the future. If we let everything go extinct, we won't have anything to select from.
Animals aren't the only living things whose genetic diversity is in danger. Modern agriculture has narrowed the kinds of grain we grow, and seed banks have been established to preserve rare plants. In total, 1,000 species of living things become extinct each year, and it's been estimated that in 20 years, that number will increase to 100 species a day. In fact, it was concern about plant preservation that led Chiperzak to rare farm animals. A graduate in biology and a part-time filmmaker, he was doing a film about endangered plants when he realized the situation with livestock was even worse. For example, 95% of all the dairy cows in Canada are Holsteins, most of them created by artificial insemination from only 12 bulls.
Come on, Fiona. Since I already had a farm, the idea of rare breeds conservation was something that I personally could begin to do. I guess the first 2 years it was very difficult. Most people in this country had no concept whatsoever of livestock conservation. I mean, the whole idea was bizarre to them. We're very familiar with wildlife conservation, habitat conservation, but the idea that, you know, barnyard animals are going extinct is just something that no one has even considered here.
A lot of people find out about rare farm animals for the very first time at Joywind Farm's annual open house.
Usually they're quite tame, but I think because there's so many people around today, that one must be too pregnant. They're all pregnant.
Some who attend will buy $10 memberships in what is officially called Joywind Farm Rare Breeds Conservancy Incorporated. Some are local farmers curious about what's going on. All seem to support the idea.
There are too few animals in the world, and anything that can be done to preserve them and to bring diversity back into the world and into the among the images that people hold of animals is something very wonderful to do. He's doing a very important job.
I think what they're doing is important in preserving some of the genes for future use.
Breeds now are bigger, but maybe in some ways they're not necessarily that much better. So we're just here to compare, I guess.
The open house also gives other farmers who own one or two unusual kinds of livestock a chance to display their prized possessions. There are rare and very reluctant Dexter cattle and Scottish Highland cattle, valued for their high-quality beef. And the crowd's favorite, Nigerian dwarf goats.
No, I wouldn't hurt you at all.
There's only 50 of them registered in Canada right now.
These breeds are more than just crowd pleasers. They often have practical traits that some of the popular super breeds have lost.
You are a dog.
The most important traits that most of these rare breeds have are traits such as easy lambing or easy calving. They are very hardy. They have a greater resistance to parasites and certain diseases. They can produce milk or meat on very poor diets. They don't need the expensive feeds of the modern production system.
These horned Dorsets are in decline because there's a hornless variety that is more popular. Horns can be a problem in large flocks kept in confined conditions. Joywind Farm is not a zoo, it's a working farm, and that's an important difference. Animals like these horned Dorset sheep were once common livestock, and Joywind shows them as they would have been in their heyday, as part of everyday farm life, and not on display in a do-not-touch zoo. But preserving live animals in a farm setting costs money, and so far, Joywind Farm has just scraped by on donations and the Chiperzak's income from other jobs.
At present, we don't get any support from the government, mostly because there's no political mandate in this country to preserve genetics. And without political mandate, there's no slots for the money to slip out. And that's one of the reasons why we started it privately. I mean, someone's got to do it, and to always rely on government is a mistake.
There is a cheaper way of preserving animal genes. A breed can be maintained virtually forever by freezing semen and eggs. Chiperzak has a sperm bank collection for cattle, but science has its drawbacks.
It's not very pretty. I mean, people don't understand it. They don't see it. It's very easy for a public to say no to science. Funding can be cut from science very quickly. I think conservation has to be in the hands of the people, and they have to be seen and appreciated and experienced. To let them simply slide away is a mistake. We're losing something. We spend vast amounts of money preserving heritage buildings and artifacts, and we have museums. We should also be concerned about the livestock that supported us through those times too. I mean, they're a genetic link to those past days, a live heritage.
For Country Canada, I'm Christina Pochmersky.